Now, in 2019, with back-to-back CIF state championship wins, the Trailblazers are ranked #1 in the nation. How did the new coach, who has led the team for the last 2 seasons, impact the program? How did the culture of the school play into this happily ever after ending over the last 2 seasons?
It's been a wonderful ride for me. Obviously, as a basketball coach, you want to develop players at the highest level. But the one thing I take value in is developing young men. So mentorship for me is one of the most important parts of coaching. So my ability to be able to mentor them and help them along and build relationships with them has been amazing. And the byproduct has been us being a great basketball team.
There's obviously something very special about Sierra Canyon. What do you think that is? What do you think that little magic something is?
I think the magic is Sierra Canyon. The balance between academics and athletics, the culture and community that we've created here, not just in the basketball court, but also in the classroom and on the campus. So I think Sierra Canyon is the magic, and the boys are the magicians that are, able to, bring that magic onto the court and entertain people, show their skill, and help us to become a great championship team. We do a lot of work in, building the camaraderie and taking trips together to build team and to build brotherhood. One of the things that we think is very important is that they like each other on the court and off the court. And so because of that, I think it translates to them supporting each other, when somebody does well, supporting each other when somebody's not doing so well.
The bonds I made here with my teammates, just going on trips with my teammates, just making memories I'll forever remember.
It was kind of just us traveling, different places, playing against different types of teams, different crowds. That was kind of that's what I liked the most, because we went around this year and last year, played in different states and everything. So just us playing basketball, we're having fun in front of other people. Just showing that was really an upside for me coming here.
So it is very intense and it is very competitive, but I think because of that, they make each other better, and it is very conducive to us being a great team. Being the coach of NBA Suns, it's challenging sometimes, right? Because you put pressure on yourself to live up to the standard of the way that they played and how they operated in the NBA. But what I found is those guys are the most understanding and supportive because they know what it takes. They know the sacrifices that it takes. And so they're supporting you, supporting their kids. And if I need help, they'll help. If I need them to back off, they back off. And so it's been wonderful over the last few years to have them to bounce ideas off of, but also to be involved in their son's basketball development.
Yeah, my dad's giving me a lot of advice on and off the court. Him coming to every game, he always has something to tell me. Even if I have a great game or a bad game, he's always something he has to tell me, just little things, so he helps me a lot with my game.
What's the best piece of advice you have ever received and who gave it to you?
Probably my dad, to be honest. He always, he just told me, always come out and play your hardest. You don't know who's watching, you don't know who's there. Just go out and play your heart out, because basketball isn't always going to be there forever. So while you have the opportunity to play, just go out and play with your heart out. So I just go out and just play my hardest every time.
Well, I think each of us have internal willpower that will push us to a certain level. But I think that as a coach, I can add to the willpower of a player, by giving them tools and tactics to dig a little deeper. But I think also when you put your individual willpower with another person, I think the collective willpower is what pushes you over the top and allows you to win tough games. And when, the game is tough at the end of the game, I can draw from the players, they can draw from me, and they can draw from each other. So I think that's the willpower that collectively pushes Sierra Canyon to championships, and that collective willpower is what makes us elite and great. I think every year there's a point that you hit in a season where either a game or a loss or something causes your team to come together. And this year, the playoffs were so tough that we had 3 or 4 games where something happened that drew us closer together. And I think those things, at the end of the day, is what allows us to get through tough games, to win a tough semifinal game, and then come back 2 days later, 3 days later, and then have a championship game that's considered to be your toughest game of the season, and be able to fight through to be able to, achieve the championship, achieve the win. You go back to that moment where this was a struggle for us, And because of this struggle, we can get through this moment now. I think that we had 4 or 5 very tough games this year, but the 2 that I think were the toughest, one was Mater Dei. We actually played Mater Dei twice, one in the CIF playoffs and then in the state playoffs. And I think the game in the state playoffs was maybe one of the toughest that we played all year. They shoot the ball very well. They play very hard. Their coach is a legend. So that was a tough game for us.
It was tough. You know, they have great coaching staffs, they have great players, and they're all like sophomores. They're going to be a problem in the future. The tough moments that we faced the year before helped us with that game.
But I think our toughest game was Westchester. The coach is a legend in his own right, and they spread us out and just went into attack mode on us and put us back on our heels. And, you know, we were down 10 or 12 points. So we had to fight back and get ourselves back in the game. And I think that was the thing that prepared us for Mater Dei, and then Mater Dei was the thing that prepared us for the championship game. So those 2 things, those 2 games, although they were the toughest, are the ones that prepared us to be successful.
But the semifinal against Mater Dei was really tough. Like, it was really tough. And when we went to the Golden Warner Center Arena, I thought the game would be way harder, but we won the game by, I think, 20-25, so it was kind of a light game.